Hi and welcome to I Love Mondays. I'm Ambrosia, and today we're looking at the topic of soulmates. So for the month of July, we're actually going to look at how soulmates operate as a way for us to grow into love. So the construct that a soulmate is someone that you're destined to meet is something that most of you might be familiar with, and I'm not going to go into the technical details of what happens at the soul level. I'm simply going to examine and explore with you what does that mean for you. So everything that we look at here in I Love Mondays is truly about what is it to go inside to my understanding of who I am, how I love, and where I need to actually expand. So expansion is a big part of souls. Souls come here to basically experience themselves. And when you have a soulmate, their job is to actually help you do that process. Now, a soul lover is the term that I'm borrowing from a friend to describe what it's like when you're actually in a soulmate relationship with someone who you have an intimate love relationship with. So that doesn't mean you have to do the do, but it just does mean that there was an intimate exchange where you felt romantic love, where you felt like maybe I could be with this person for a long time, or I could build something with them, or if you actually did have that physical intimacy. And so the distinction between a soulmate and a soul lover is not really that big, because the purpose of a soul lover is exactly the same as a soulmate. It's to expand you into love. They do, however, activate certain chemicals in our bodies. And we're going to explore that over July, the month of July, to look at how at different phases of love throughout your life or throughout your fantasy life, because the soulmate always inspires not just this, the heart, but our fantasy. We're going to look at those chemicals and what they might be triggering in you. So the three phases that we look at through the soul lover experience is when you have that first glimmer of attraction. And that for some of us is very physical, for some of us it's both physical and something else, and we don't know what that something else is. And there's a chemical that runs the body at that time. I'm more interested in the fantasies and the brain and what it's doing, because that's where we can get into a place where we get carried away, or we simply just feel an expanded sense of love. And that can be a good thing, and it can also be a destructive thing. So we're going to look at all throughout our meditations for this month, what is it that we feel unresolved? So when something is destructive, or when something is not complete, what happens is that the soul will re-experience it until it is complete. And that's why soul mates and soul lovers tend to bring up a lot of feelings for us, even if we've broken up from them, maybe they've passed away, or just not in your life anymore. Soul lovers can still trigger a lot of memories, fantasies, thoughts, feelings, sensations in the body, hormonal fluctuations, because they are bringing you back to what it is that you came to resolve. And it's not really a big deal for the soul, but because our bodies are going nuts, our minds are trying to cope with a fear of maybe not being able to resolve it, or a fear of that it's something I can't do on the physical level, and it's very difficult to resolve a breakup or other feelings that are to do with old feelings like anger or sadness or betrayal. So let's look at why souls come together and why souls part. So souls come together to truly become a mirror for what's going on inside of you, your desire to expand into love, your desire to actually know yourself. So in the process of knowing yourself, there's also aspects of yourself that you may not know. And what happens so magically with a soul lover is that they start to actually engage you in this beautiful awareness that you don't know parts of yourself. And that feeling of rush when the first chemical endorphins start of attraction or desire or wanting actually is this beautiful opening in the body. It's like a flowering where you actually begin to see there's parts of me that are creatively being brought out. And we may think it's the other person, and that's wonderful. That's great to think it's the other person. But for me, what's more fascinating is that there's this part of you that's actually like excited or tantalized. You're telling your friends, you're like staying up thinking about them. You got a butterfly feeling or a compulsive attraction. And that actually just starts to take over. And that's the magic. That's the moment when your body and soul start to actually make a chemistry where you're opening to this potential that you've not actually experienced yet. And in that, there's one of the elements of love that are so important. When two people come together, we actually are celebrating those aspects that we may not have capitalized on, we may not have even thought about, or we know that we have them, but we've put them in a box and we've hidden them away because we think they're not important, we don't value them enough, or we somehow think they're not now that we have to bring them out for many, many reasons. So the soul lover has this beautiful capacity to start opening up that feeling that there's more to me, there's more to life, there's potential, there's opportunity, I'm excited, I don't know what could happen, but it could be something wonderful. So when two soul lovers part, the reasoning behind that is actually a sense that we can't keep that potential, that the potential of that was met in the beginning was not actually finished. It wasn't done in a way that could actually meet who you were in the physical level. It can certainly meet you always at the soul level. And a soul lover, no matter how painful or how joyful or how nothing the experience becomes, was always an opportunity for your soul to grow. Because even if you have hurtful experiences, what happens is the soul starts to experience hurt for the first time maybe, or at a different level. Some of us think that, oh, I've had so many heartbreaks, I don't want to do this again, blah, blah, blah. I've had heartbreak after heartbreak, and each time what happened was kind of like a ripening of certain feelings and certain patterns in my life. So the patterns started to get really ripe until at the point, basically, like a fruit, it falls open and the seeds fall into the ground and something new was born. So if I had done it with one breakup, I wouldn't have got there. I needed to have breakup after breakup to actually get a pattern, to feel the feeling with enough heartache, and to then just see that it's finished, it's done. So those lovers, as much as they may have annoyed me or I may have been annoying with my feelings, constantly going over and over, like, why couldn't it happen, why couldn't have stayed, why did this one not work? At the soul level, it was working, and I was actually able to break a pattern and truly develop a new habit. So in neuroscience, they're researching now, they're very excited about how we actually create new habits. They've got to awarenesses that once you have an old habit, it's still there in the body, it's in the neural pathways, not just the brain, but the entire nervous system. They understand that. So they're looking at how to change addictive behavior, repetitive behavior, dysfunctions of the brain, dysfunctions of the body. One of the purposes of experiencing a soulmate connection is to understand those very physical habits that may have become even enhanced in this life. The soul may have had an imprint or a memory of something. It comes into the physical body and you start to repeat that soul imprint. And it's literally through heartache or opening with someone and then losing them through death or other experiences that you begin to break that habit or that pathway of experience in the body. And in some cases, it literally just becomes a process of acceptance that you had this experience and now it's finished, which perhaps is the hardest thing at the emotional level to achieve. But when it is experienced, a level of acceptance doesn't mean you have to be happy about the situation. When you have the acceptance, what happens is that the quietness in the body, the peace that happens in the nervous system, allows the soul to come in and actually start to see new possibilities. So ironically, when two lovers come together, we have this extreme chemical reaction, or even just fantasizing about someone, you can have extreme chemical reactions. And you have the feeling of new possibilities, new potential, or potentials that were hidden are coming to light for you. But at the soul level, when souls part and you develop over time a sense of understanding that that's a part of coming together with someone, is leaving them or losing them or not quite being able to do what you want fully, the soul then begins to be able to, over time, accept. And that then opens up at the soul level a new potential for a new habit. Two different things, the soul and the personality. So in I Love Mondays, we talk about the higher self, which I'm also referring to as the soul in this case. And that is a quieter part of ourselves, an older, a wiser, a more stable part. Our personalities are not built to be stable. They're built to keep the body alive. So sometimes you'll have a lot of instability in any soulmate connection because of fear of losing them. And when you find that place, and sometimes it's not a place that comes quickly, but that place where you actually see the meaning of the soulmate connection, you can begin to actually change the habits of the personality at a real level. So this is not neuroscience, this is soul love, soul work that I'm describing. And it's a process that's been done over the centuries and the millennia, but we often don't actually read it or experience it today. If you think of some of the Thomas Aquinas and the other saints who wrote about the process of engaging with the soul. Thomas More is a modern writer as well. We have people that discuss these feelings in books, but as a culture in general, we've become obsessed with the personality, and we think that somehow love relationships should be something that we can resolve through a dating website, hook up with someone, and try to experience love until you actually get to the higher aspects of or the not just higher, because sometimes they're not better or worse, but until you get to the soul level of understanding a love relationship or a soul lover relationship, you aren't actually getting to the part or the chemistry that will actually keep two people together or help you to grow into love. So it's not always, when you grow in love, about staying with someone. As we're experiencing now, a lot of relationships don't go to completion or stay till death do us part. A lot of relationships are actually experiencing it's time to let you go. And as a culture, we're actually, for the first time in modern memory, learning how to let go in a way that doesn't do more damage. Whenever you break up families, let alone two lovers, there is a lot of hurt. And that breakup can be managed in an easier way. There will always be hurt. We're not going to eradicate emotional feelings altogether, but we can actually appease that. And appease means slow it down, calm the personality, and just take time to heal. Time is not a big commodity these days, but the time that you give yourself to just simply experience any hurts and bring it to some expression is a part of just allowing the hurt to be acknowledged and move on. We're still at the beginning phases of this in relationships and in culture, but we're doing it. People are doing it, and we don't see it on the news. We don't go around talking about, oh, I heard two people break up and, it wasn't easy, but they did it. We don't discuss this. We hear about the drama of the bad divorce or the multi-million-dollar divorces on the television networks and media. So you can actually begin to think about what are those times that you may have had a soulmate connection and you've had things that were like, ugh, you feel like you're holding on to, and also realize things that you just sort of went, you know what, I'm okay with that. You still may have emotion about it or a charge, but you're like, no, that was appropriate. It's finished. And you also may know people where they finished a relationship and inside they knew, here, it was time, it's finished. So today what we're going to do for the meditation is go in and see for you what is at this time unresolved. And through the next 3 I Love Mondays, we'll look at how the soul can begin to show you what is it that you can start to look as a potential or a new habit. Doesn't mean we have to step into it, but we do need to explore, if I didn't have this feeling, what could possibly happen for me? And no matter what your mind says, no matter what voices come or resistance or not being able to feel in your body, because often sometimes in meditation I may guide you and you may not feel something. It doesn't matter. Whenever you ask consciousness a question to explore yourself, you start a process. It's just like when you say hello to someone on the street. They may look up, they may not hear you, but you start this entertaining of a possibility of connection. Same thing when you talk to your consciousness in meditation. Doesn't matter if you don't feel anything, see anything, get any visions. I'm not asking for you to download anything incredible. I'm just asking you to begin the way into a deeper part of you. So begin by closing the eyes and feeling your body on the chair that you're sitting on or the surface that you're sitting on, and feel actually the hip bones. So if you can feel the sitting bones on the chair, the hip bones as well, and the pelvis, just noticing how that is an anchor in that chair. If your feet are on the ground, you can also anchor through the feet into the ground. So find the points where you balance the upper body and the heart over that pelvis and the feet if you are touching the ground. And as you breathe into the heart, the center of the chest, just notice how you can find the balance of the heart over that anchor of the pelvis and the lower body. So for some of you, when you breathe, you may notice subtle movement, and that's beautiful. Just notice any subtle movement of the body as you're breathing. And then this meditation, we use the golden light. So visualize a golden light coming into the top of the head and the heart. and feel or see that golden light melting down into the lower body. So down your arms as well, down from the heart into the pelvis, the lower body. Feel the golden light radiating into every cell or melting down. And now as you breathe, that golden light is also expanding you, expanding into your body. So as you feel the golden light, you can sense that heart again. Sense the heart in the center of the chest, the heart chakra. And just ask, how can I listen to you, to that heart? How can I listen to you? And now we're going to ask for the heart chakra to show you an image or sense or feeling of the soul. So if you don't get anything, don't worry, just ask. Begin the process by asking, show me an image, sense or feeling of the soul. And finally, just ask, what is that the soul came to heal? What is it the soul came to heal? You may get a feeling, you may get a sense. Just ask. See the golden light in the heart. And whatever you're experiencing now, again, feel the golden light embracing that, expanding into it. With your breath, you can use the golden light to fill your entire body. And now just bring your awareness back to the physical body and your breath. Feel the potential and expansion of your body with the breath. With every breath, you connect to that potential. So just take your own breaths filling up releasing, relaxing, experiencing, expanding, and contraction. And then bring your awareness with the breath all the way down from the top of the head, down the body, and into the feet. So take note of what came to you, even if nothing came right now. So write down how do you connect to the soul, and if anything came to you about how to heal. Thank you for joining I Love Mondays. I'm Angela Ambrosia. Have a blessed week.